From the telescope, we know more about the origins of our cosmos. It's a shorthand for what I was trying to enlarge upon this evening.
Yep. The problem
might have to revisit that.
The problem is there are going to remain fundamental questions which science almost certainly will never answer. For example, if the origin of the universe was the Big Bang, what caused that to happen? How could the entire universe simply pop into existence magically for no reason at all? I mean, because science won't be able to answer those questions, religion will always seek to.
Well, I think it's the other way around, actually. I mean, the reason why religion is such a great argument to be having is that it is our first attempt at making sense. I mean, religion is what you get before philosophy. It's our first attempt at philosophy. Most philosophers started off as religious, as did many ethicists. It's our first attempt at cosmology, first attempt at healthcare, by means of miracle, alas, but still. And prayer. It's our first attempt to make sense. And science doesn't completely replace all those questions, but it says that there's no need for a supernatural attempt to answer them. In other words, if you say, because we don't know what the scientific origins of the Big Bang are, which Father Lemaitre didn't know any more than I do, or Einstein did, there must be a supernatural explanation. That isn't logical at all. And if there was a supernatural progenitor, where did that supernatural progenitor come from? Who created that? So you get nothing out of it but an infinite regression, and I think the meanest application to science is more satisfying than that, and much more likely to yield an answer that you can at least argue about. Whereas if you're simply told you have a creator and he has a plan for you, it explains nothing, and it has reactionary implications, because it suggests there are people who can't just tell you what to do. There are plenty of those as it is. People who say, God tells me to tell you what to do. And that's slavery.
Incidentally, you make this point yourself, don't you, about this infinite regression of creators. And in fact, Aristotle concluded that the logic of all of this would necessitate 47 or 55 gods.
Yes.
What's the mathematics?
I have no idea. There's a lot about Aristotle I don't understand. And some of it's in that song.
Yes.
From Woolloomooloo?
Well, I think it was actually the University of Woolloomooloo. Yes.
Woolloomooloo, so I knew I was pronouncing it. Yeah,
yes.
It is.
Aristotle was a bugger for the
Aristotle,
bottle.
Yeah, Plato, yes. Never mind. John Stuart Mill, of his own free will, on half a pint of shandy, got spectacularly ill. But Plato, they say, could stick it away. Half a crate of whiskey every day. And of course Aristotle was a bugger for the bottle. Thomas Hobbes was a slave to his dram, and René Descartes was pissed as a fart. I drink, therefore I am.
Okay. If my wife was...
How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I should really know.
Yes, Socrates himself is particularly missed. Lovely little thinker, but bugger when he's pissed.
There's something about the raising of the wrist.
There's nothing Nietzsche couldn't teach you about the raising of the wrist.
Yes, okay. Let's get
Immanuel
serious.
Kant was a real pissant. Very seldom stable. Martin Heidegger was a boozy beggar. He could think you under the table. David Hume could out-consume Schopenhauer and Hegel.
Hegel, yes, there you go.
And Wittgenstein was